Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one. Cheers, guys.
Side of your mind, but please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review and just sort of give my general thoughts on the second season of Jessica Jones on Netflix. So yeah, just finished the season about a little less than a week ago, and I know I'm way later than everyone else talking about it. But you know, with me, I don't really, it's rare when I really like binge watch, something, I guess. Once in a while I still get into it, but at most I watch 2 to 3 episodes at a time, usually. And with me, it's not that I'm less interested in the show, it's just that I sort of most of the time taking my time with different shows and stuff like that. I like to savor it because I know it's not going to be back for a while, so I like to make it last. But it doesn't necessarily determine whether I'm into a show or not. But yeah, Marvel's Jessica Jones Season 2. I liked it quite a bit. I've heard some mixed things about it, some more lukewarm reception than I guess people were expecting. But did this get renewed for a 3rd season, which I think is really great. To me, my favorite, of the Netflix Marvel shows, it's hard to say, because I really loved, the first season of The Punisher. I love John Bernthal's, version of that character. But to me, my favorite season of all the Netflix Marvel shows is probably Daredevil Season 2. And I'll probably do a video, ranking them and just talking about all of them sometime. But, that had, John Bernthal's Punisher in it, but then, of course, Daredevil, Charlie Cox, and, so all that together just really worked for me. Especially after meeting Charlie Cox, at C2E2, a couple weekends ago. Daredevil overall is probably still my favorite show of all of them. It could change, with the Punisher 2nd season, though it's really close with that. But after those, I'd say Jessica Jones is definitely my favorite of them. Well, I guess I shouldn't say favorite, but it's right after the Daredevil and Punisher stuff, let's just say that. I did like the Defenders, I think I liked it more than some people seem to. I definitely had its issues. But I think there's still a lot that worked about, especially with when it came to Daredevil and Elektra, and I just thought Matt and Jessica's back and forth together were really excellent. Krysten Ritter and Charlie Cox, and Jessica Jones Season 1. I rewatched the first episode when my girlfriend started getting into it quite a while ago, and Season 1 was really excellent. It was great. I know a lot of people seem to dislike the season more because there wasn't clear-cut villain or something like that. There wasn't a Kilgrave David Tennant or something like that. But for me, I get it. It was definitely a different type of story this season. And I guess I get people wanting more of a central villain like that. But I still thought there were definitely they're obviously threats. And for me, it still worked because I felt it was a natural progression from where we left Jessica in Season 1 to where we have her now in Season 2, after the Defenders and everything. The whole thing with IGH and them actually going deeper into Jessica's origins and how she got her abilities, how she may have been experimented on and stuff like that. What happened to her parents, her mother in particular. I thought it was like a natural direction for them to go deeper into Jessica herself. So it was like it was definitely like less of a Jessica has to stop so and so kind of season. It was more of like a Jessica character season, which I thought was completely fine. Now am I saying it's as good as season 1? No, probably not. I'd still say season 1 it's the best of it so far. But I quite like season 2. And if it wasn't for Daredevil and Elektra and the Defenders, I'd say season 2 of Jessica Jones is probably better than the Defenders as well. Certainly better than Luke Cage, and definitely better than Iron Fist. Personally, I just don't really care for either of those too much, especially Iron Fist. But I quite enjoyed season 2 of Jessica Jones. Krysten Ritter, she again just really, really knocks it out of the park. She's an incredible actress, and I said it before on a couple different posts I made about it on Facebook and everything. I feel like I could get lost in Jessica's mind and in her psyche for hours, just because of how compelling and just sort of relatable, yet just the way Krysten Ritter pulls me in. She does a really, really nice job of portraying this character. She's, like I said, just an excellent actress. You can see her in things like this, to like Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. She has a lot of range, and I watched Beyond the Trailers review of this season, and she actually said Krysten Ritter doesn't have much range as an actress. What the fuck? Like, honestly, have you not really seen any other work of hers besides this and maybe Breaking Bad or something? I don't know. And even with her performance as Jessica Jones, there's definitely a lot that goes into it. You see, Jessica's very stoic. Well, she's a very kind of angry character who has a lot of issues and stuff like that, but there's still a lot of little things that go into her performance, and especially when we see her in the flashbacks, she's portraying a very different version of Jessica at a different point in her life. And I think Krysten Ritter knocks it out of the park and still shows a lot of personality no matter how Jessica's feeling. And there could be like a much more boring actress that could play Jessica, have her look more like Jessica in the comics, but it just won't work as well because they're not as good as Krysten Ritter. And if there's less of an actress in Krysten Ritter, this season wouldn't have been as good as it was either. But anyway, I'm not gonna go into like every plot detail. I'm probably actually gonna miss talking about some things. But we end up finding out that, okay, I'm gonna go into some spoilers. I'm guessing most of you have probably seen the season by now, but if you haven't, just know I really actually like the second season of Jessica Jones. And most of it I thought worked pretty well, minus some of the Trish and why did I suddenly forget his name? Some of the Trish and Malcolm stuff maybe took up a little bit too much time, but I thought it still went by easier than other supporting stuff and like the lesser shows I talked about. So anyway, we find out that Jessica's mother is actually still alive, but she is so badly injured she doesn't actually look anything like herself anymore. And she has similar powers to Jessica, but she's more out of control. She's more unstable. If you thought Jessica had a temper, just to see this lady. And I like the introduction to the mother character. We see Simpson return as well, and he's killed pretty quickly. That was actually a pretty kind of creepy and almost a scary scene when they're in that dark warehouse kind of thing, and you just end up finding Simpson with his neck snapped and twisted and stuff like that. So I thought there was a lot of mystique and intrigue that went with who ended up being Jessica's mother at first. And once we find out it is her mother, I thought it turned into a overall pretty fine story, for Jessica. We've seen her at some very vulnerable places in the past, with what Kilgrave did to her. It's a very different type of thing. But almost with Jessica finding out her mother is alive and trying to just sort through all that shit as best she can and cope with that. In ways, we almost see her at her most vulnerable in this season. Just completely open to part of herself she thought had to be dead and buried long ago, and trying to figure out if there's any way to accept what this reality is. Which I thought was really, really interesting. And then you have, I should probably talk about some of the other stuff before I forget about it. You also have, Carrie-Anne Moss, of course, Hogarth. You find, of course, we know that, she's dying, and so she's trying to basically one-up everyone in her company and secure her place, sort of her legacy, with the corruption that goes along with what she's done, but also the people she works with. So she's a character you still don't fully trust, but at the same time, you're with her for a lot, You're probably with her, like, second to Jessica throughout the whole season. Which, again, I'm sure some people probably complained about, but I thought it was fine. You definitely feel for her. And through the whole Jessica side of it, she ends up being this woman who really kind of, just appeals to her, but she ends up being screwed over in a very big way, and she ends up making a very morally great decision on basically getting revenge on her. But I don't really I'm not going to go into every plot detail here, it'd just take too long, and honestly I don't remember every single bit of it. But as far as the Trish thing, this season, I know a lot of people complained about her. They found her really annoying this season. There's definitely points where I got frustrated with her as well, but I wouldn't say she was awful this season. I actually still quite liked her, or at least quite liked Rachel Taylor's performance as Patsy. She becomes addicted to what Simpson is taking to enhance herself, seeing more signs of her, maybe becoming more of her comic book version of herself. But through this, she becomes a lot more unstable. She becomes more, sort of erratic, more aggressive, more irritable. So she has to, and then she's trying to figure out these different cases and stuff like that, tied to her past as Patsy, and, reconnecting with, her mother in a certain way. And the way that clashes with, Jessica's going through, it ends in a very bad way in the season finale in the episode before. And then you also have Jessica's new love interest. I forget his name. They live in the same apartment complex and everything like that. She uses him to get different IDs and stuff like that, or passports, whatever it is. He's like the new landlord or something, I guess. He has his son as well, who's just fascinated by Jessica, which is kind of cute. One thing about the season, I do wish there was more mention of the Defenders, especially now that the Defenders basically all think Matt Murdock is dead. Devil of Hell's Kitchen is gone. There's hardly a mention of him throughout the season, and I get Jessica's on her own now again, and she's kind of shut herself off, of course, but there's one mention of them towards the beginning of the season, saying how different people at the police department, they won't mention them or get them involved. I still feel like they could do more to sort of cross over these shows in little ways throughout their own individual seasons, but it is what it is. But anyway, I thought her love interest, at first it felt a little bit wasn't really quite working for me. It felt a little bit off. I was worried it was going to feel forced, because at first they're really kind of angry with each other. But, it had some natural bonding moments I actually bought into as it went. And it ended up feeling more than just a placeholder for Luke Cage, which people are still expecting to be the end result of this. Which, probably will be, but, I thought it was fine for what it was. Now let me talk, about the last few episodes, or where things ended up going with Jessica and her mother. it turns out, the doctor that worked on them, he had also formed a relationship with her mother, and they care for each other very deeply, apparently. So Jessica, Jessica's mother, she ends up, not being able to control herself, and Jessica's able to pull her out of it here and there. And of course, Jessica, with every last part of herself, wants to believe in her mother, and, sort of just give her every chance she can that she lost when she was younger. She's desperate to cling on, but, the question that Trish and others bring up, is this person really worth it? Jessica ends up deciding to actually go on the run with her, and there's actually some really nice scenes between the two. I got the whole plot line of her mother not really looking like her mother anymore, but I think it would have helped a little bit if the actress they had chosen, still kind of looked, a little bit more similar to Krysten Ritter. I think they still probably could have gotten away with that. They didn't necessarily have to. I don't know. But yeah, Chris who played her still did a fine job. And there's moments where you can definitely see that maybe there's a chance for her mother to be different, except she kills some people along the way, but they also save a family together, which is one of the more kind of exciting scenes in the last couple episodes. And then so them going to this theme park, they had been around when Jessica was a child, and Trish, she seems to be in her right head again, kind of not. But she ends up thinking that, her mother is just a danger to Jessica, and she's not going to be good for her life. And, it bothered me, because at the end, Tristan, when they're on the Ferris wheel or whatever, Tristan ends up shooting her in the head and killing her, just like that. Which I thought was very, just wasn't her place whatsoever to make that decision. I definitely agree with Jessica here. And probably one of my favorite parts of the season was when Jessica jumped down and just shoved Trish across the ground. I thought that was really cool. I actually would have liked it if Jessica had kind of laid into her physically a little bit, without killing her, I guess. But they're definitely divided, almost in a more serious way than even Matt and Foggy are. Yeah, definitely, because Trish just killed Jessica's mother, and you got Trish's perspective and some of the others on it, but I don't. Again, it wasn't something that Trish should have decided. And again, a great performance in Krysten Ritter here. Their friendship and their sort of relationship as sisters is definitely fractured now, but I think it's all really well. Getting well acted by Krysten Ritter, even though maybe the direction for Trish is a bit frustrating. But it'll probably cause her to be even more independent now and maybe grow into what ability she apparently still has left with what she's taking from Simpson. But yeah, there's just a lot more about the season I could talk about. Back to the love interest thing, she finally sits down with them and has dinner, at the end of the season. And, seeing Jessica genuinely happier, almost, at least, finding somewhere where she belongs or where she wants to, actually let herself, feel some sort of positivity, brought a smile to my face, because Krysten Ritter's just that good at playing this character, and I really care about her, I'm really invested. And of course, Jessica, her sarcasm is as on point as ever this season. Honestly, I'm giving this season about a B+ or an A-. Yeah, I thought it was that good. I know, again, some people are mixed on the season, but I still thought it was really good and sort of a natural follow-up with where season 1 left it. And there's an episode where Jessica is just completely just having this huge meltdown, and she starts having visions of Kilgrave, so we do see David Tennant again. And I know that's some people's favorite episode of the season, which I understand. But for me, it was more about just Jessica's mental state being portrayed so well by Krysten Ritter. And that, of course, she hasn't forgotten about Kilgrave. He still has an effect on her psyche, so I still thought that was really well done. But yeah, Jessica Jones, it continues to be a really, really fantastic show, and I think it's definitely one of the very best that Netflix has ever done. I think it always will be. But yes, I want you guys to about the second season of Jessica Jones. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, Instagram as well. And if there's anything about season 2 you want to hear more of my thoughts on, definitely comment below. I'm sure there's stuff I forgot about. I know there is, and I know I don't really do it justice with the way I talk about it. Probably not one of my best videos, but I still wanted to get out my thoughts on it. So yeah, I already said that. Good night, guys.